Welcome back to another episode of 100% Fresh with Two Chef Mission. This episode's going to be interesting because it's food problems solved.
So what we're going to do is we have off camera, we have a whiteboard. And if you're listening to this on the audio format, we also have a video format.
But, we do. So if you aren't watching, you could be.
You could be watching.
YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube.
And if you aren't listening to us and you're watching us on YouTube, check us out on Spotify.
Yeah, or really wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah, that too.
So, back to the regularly scheduled program. So we actually have a whiteboard off camera that we had a close friend and chef of ours write down a couple of food problems, or at least a food problem to solve. And we're going to do it live without seeing it.
Okay, yeah. We haven't seen this board yet.
So we're...
because Allie wrote the board.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in the video clipped in. So you're going to see it. Unless you're listening, then you can envision it in your mind.
It's just a big whiteboard.
Unless you don't do that.
With some writing.
And then, I don't know. So, without further ado...
We're going to go ahead.
Look the board.
And look at what we've got.
For us to find, it'd be funny if it was like...
Alright, so this is going to be our food problem that we're going to be solving today is diabetes and cultural cuisine. So
the problem is someone with diabetes wants to maintain traditional foods that are often high in carbs or sugar. What type of food?
Think about how difficult it is for people of Latin or Hispanic heritage.
So we're gonna be tackling more Hispanic Latin
going
cuisines.
Colombian.
We can do Colombian.
There's a lot of carbs in our culture.
In Colombia, we tend to enjoy
the carbs.
Los carbas.
I mean, to be fair, carbs are energy.
They are. They translate to energy, but for somebody who
we need the complex
does
ones.
Have diabetes, it doesn't necessarily work out to eat heavy carbs or a lot of carbs. Mm-hmm. So in that fashion, in fact, as a Colombian, I grew up eating a lot of the traditional foods. My mom grew up eating and kind of sharing those with me. There's a lot of ways to kind of get around this. I know one of my big things that I grew up eating was rice and beans. Rice is some carbs. We end up so for reducing carbs, we're going to try to cut out potatoes. We're going to try to cut out rice. I think you can have some. The thing is, you can have some, you just don't have a lot.
You still have some.
Definitely yuca would be another carb that we'd be cutting out. And...
Okay, wait. Who's staring at you? The cat.
Oh, the cat.
The cat's staring at you. The cat wants rice.
You know what? The cat would not enjoy the rice. It's not cooked right now.
Yeah. And I will say the thing is that salads are not a high thing.
When we went and visited, that was not a thing that we noticed too much of. They do have also, a lot of soups with multiple protein sources, and some veggies.
Sources, yes. I mean, of course, there's vegetables, but it is carb heavy because you also have to think like your empanadas and everything.
Like and that's made with like cornmeal, corn flour, turned into kind of like a nice dough. Same thing with arepas. Arepas are another big cultural standpoint to have. I remember eating them for like breakfast, and you could even have it throughout the day as snacks. But really to reduce and avoid a lot of that, my immediate thoughts would be to have smaller intakes on each. So like, let's say for rice is kind of a staple when it comes to Hispanic Latin American cuisine. I would say just have a smaller portion of it when you're having some of your foods.
Okay, well, you could do that, or you could make cauliflower rice.
You could do cauliflower rice. That's another option that also will help increase with the veggies. So that's going to give you other nutrients that you may be missing out with the rice.
Now, while we have a good knowledge in food, we also research. So, a decent portion of this, and also realize, like, so one, noting, this is our first episode like this, and
we're also not nutritionists.
Oh, we're not nutritionists. Also, we are not doctors.
We're not doctors. We're not nutritionists. This is not medical advice.
This is not medical advice.
This is the opinions of
No,
two
it's not
chefs.
even opinions. This is just food advice. It's food.
I would avoid saying advice only for the fact
Food,
that...
oh my lordy. It is not medical advice. We are not doctors. We are chefs. We cook food.
That's true.
We don't deal with people's insides. That was weird. We're not doctors.
No,
at all.
we're not.
So, don't take this for that, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
No. So yeah. So I'm like, diabetes, we gotta, not medical advice. At all. But have we worked with people who have diabetes? Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
But we are not telling you any of these things. Because also, one thing I will say, if you have any of these issues, right, or anything that you're dealing with, it is important to have a relationship with both a doctor and, if you're working with a chef, you know, hand in hand, or a nutritionist, because you can work with either.
Yeah.
It's whatever works. So for us, like, we explore the zone of, okay, so rice, potatoes, yuca, pan, those types of things are going to be more your carb heavy, right?
Things that you want to try to avoid. Which
is where I was then wondering, how carb heavy is yuca, right? The research. But that's also where we deep dive. And we don't just surface level, also like bananas, plantains, those types of things too.
So if you're a Colombian and you're eating your soups, you might need to avoid putting the banana in it.
And the plantain. And it's interesting too, because bananas, starch and like sugar wise, they get more sugars as they ripen.
Yeah.
So when they're less ripe,
they're starchier.
But the sugar count is lower, so they're actually more glycemic, lower glycemic.
Yeah.
Random things. But so things that we could adjust for, because I was like, okay, you're like empanadas or like flour based and stuff, is using like an almond flour, which then leads into almond flour empanadas.
We can make that.
Right? Which then leads us into all kinds of recipe
now the question
development
is
and
like,
exploring.
can that also work to replace the masa for arepas?
Exactly.
Because arepas now
that is an explorative.
Arepas are done by actually grinding the corn down into like a masa or like a cornmeal paste, almost. Now living here, of course, in the United States, it's easier to just get a bag of cornmeal and then mix with some water until you got your dough. Yeah.
Exactly. So that would be what you'd replace, because then you're using, because almond flour is literally, it's ground almonds.
Yeah.
So that's worth the thing. And as we're going through this, if you're like, this is an interesting menu, you guys should actually make it. And
if you want to see us make it, just definitely comment below, send us a message, and reach out to us and let us know that, hey, I want to see you guys make a diabetes-friendly Colombian recipe or a Colombian menu.
And then, of course, like, looking more into it, that's also leading towards, like, of course, like, keto, like, cheese-based things. Yeah. So it's going to be, like, it's going to be lowering, but see, that isn't that
cheese
not...
to our hot chocolate.
cheese to our hush. Oh, yeah, you. I'm like, what? I thought you were talking about
it's a Colombian thing.
Yeah, well,
It's
cheese and
totally a
ice
Colombian
cream,
thing.
too.
Hey, cheese
It's
on ice
interesting.
cream, don't knock it till you try it. It's actually really good.
But so it would be really kind of replacing those like higher carb heavy.
Yeah.
So like cauliflower rice.
Would be great. It'd go
We're gonna have a
great with your
cauliflower rice.
cauliflower rice. That'd be great. But
Yeah.
cauliflower
I don't
rice
know
could
how you
go
do that.
great with meals like sancocho, which is traditionally a stew. Or like a soup more than anything. Usually that goes over rice, or that's how I've preferred to eat it. Your bandeja paisa, which is more of a traditional breakfast plate that has like eggs and a bunch of different meats.
Right.
Cauliflower rice would be a great substitute there too.
Though I'm really intrigued by the utilizing almond flour.
For arepas and empanadas.
Yeah. And then
I can call the cousins and we can get together and do it.
That'd be interesting, yeah. And so I think the most important part in all of this is utilizing the flavors.
Yeah. It's,
So, like,
you want to really utilize the seasonings, the cooking methods if you can. You can't always use the same cooking methods that are going to be used in Colombia. And I know that. Melissa knows that. So just really utilizing the flavors for the region are going to be your biggest benefits to being able to still get that authentic flavor with the replacements that you're going to have. Like, of course, potatoes you're basically going to mix for the most part because they're high carb content.
Yeah. And like if you're looking for replacing it with more of like a complex carb, because you also like could swap out your rices instead of using like long grain, doing more of a brown rice or like using sweet potato or things like that. Yeah. Or you could even like
and then this also comes into
possibly
play
kind
with
of throw in quinoa sort of situation.
that I think would just change the way it would feel when you're
Yeah.
eating it. Now, I would
Though
say this
cauliflower
also
rice will also do that.
yeah, but this also plays into the situation of if you are with diabetes in this particular case,
Which it's low glycemic too,
and then which is good.
Which is good, yes.
But if you are, somebody who's struggling with diabetes and wants to have more traditional Colombian or Latin American food, this is also where, like we said, connecting with a doctor, possibly a nutritionist, those individuals are going to be able to better guide you to ingredients and foods that you can have. Whereas we can guide you in the process of cooking it to make it taste delicious.
Yeah.
That's really where our expertise shines.
Right. And I think a huge area that's going to do is like looking at your produce and things like that and thinking kind of like, is it starchy? If it's starchy, then it has to be swapped out. Kind of.
And I did like I like the point that you were making about possibly swapping out your simple carbs for complex carbs, like potatoes for sweet potatoes. Yes, it's still a potato. Sweet potatoes got a little bit more of a slightly sweeter flavor, of course, different texture than what you would see with an Idaho or Yukon Gold or really any other type of variety of potato. But the fact of the matter is they have better nutrients for you as well.
Yeah, and we can definitely note, well, we will note, we'll note kind of some of the swaps that we would
recommend and do,
in order to keep the flavor and the traditionalness, but replace the ingredients.
Yeah. No, and these are all great things to be able to note. And if you are really interested in seeing this menu come to life, let us know, either in the comments, in a message.
Yeah, though we are gonna try out
we're gonna try out a couple of these things already.
Yeah, because that's how we learn more things. And, and we also learn like how to make things allergy friendly or restriction friendly and things like that, so that we can then we can, instead of guessing that things will work, we can know, because this is definitely one of those ones like we have to test it.
Yeah.
Because for empanadas and arepas, like
yeah, it's like there's a specific texture with that. As you were saying that,
Ooh,
actually earlier,
for
in my
tamales
head,
too.
Yes,
That'd be
for
interesting.
tamales, that would be really interesting. But as you were saying that earlier, I was immediately thinking that could easily lead into blind taste testing to see the difference between a traditional empanada, arepa, tamale comparative to one that is actually diabetes friendly or diabetic friendly, and that could be an interesting video that we can make.
Yeah. But this was just a little bit of what it's like jumping into a restriction or what it would be kind of like on the surface of what someone coming to us would be. So this was kind of like an intro, and next would be us doing a lot more research into the behind the scenes of what can they have, what can they not have, and then for us we really focus on the what can be eaten, because then we can really plug into the recipes
Exactly,
and then the menu and things like that.
Also, the reality is with that is that once you know what you can't have, don't focus on what you can't have, because that's already out of the question. Just focus on the things you can have, and you'll have a better experience from what we've seen.
Because I feel like it'd be worse if it was like they couldn't have like it was diabetes, but also like low acidity and no tomatoes and no peppers, and then it would get
because
all
the
sorts
sofrito
of
that we made is heavily with tomato, peppers, and onions, things like that.
Yeah. So this throws in a curveball with diabetes and wanting to still be able to have cultural foods, but it's still doable, and that's the important part.
Yeah, you can still have the foods you want, and it can still be just as delicious.
Now, if you have a food problem that you're interested in us trying to solve, or even just food questions or anything like that, send them to us, and we might make a video on it, or a whole podcast episode.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is. Or you might just get an email back where we answer it. Who knows? But we would love to help with as many food problems as we can. Yeah. And our next video is on burnout.
Oh, yeah, facing burnout in the kitchen.
Yep. So make sure you look for that. And if you haven't already seen our video on how chefs create menus around anything, definitely check it out.
Yes. And until next time, keep it 100% fresh.